Every morning starts the same for me. I wake up and I immediately check social media. First there's Instagram, then I make my way over to Facebook, followed by Twitter, and then I have to finish with Snapchat. Before I know it, I've spent an extra 20 minutes in bed checking social media. It's exhausting, and I know I can't be the only one. See, social media is running our lives whether we like it or not. But why? Why are we doing this? In his special Make Happy, Bo Burnham talks about social media's use by our generation. I think he sums up our generation perfectly. He says, social media is the market's answer to a generation that demanded to perform. So the market said, here, perform everything to each other all the time for no reason. He's right. This is the perfect summary of our generation. See, we grew up being told that we were special, and we are. We were told that we could be president or be a movie star. I was told it, I'm sure you were told it. See, every generation has had its podium of expression. We've just found ours through social media. But I'm not here to argue that it's horrible. It's not. We've just been using it incorrectly. See, my argument is simple. Social media is our generation's greatest tool for self-expression, but it's causing a lot of anxiety that can be stopped if we simply stop posting for others and start posting for ourselves. We need to stop posting for others and start posting for ourselves. As someone who is self-diagnosed with a social media addiction and clinically diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, I know that this shift in why we post can work because I've taken the steps myself. So the first issue we need to address is what's wrong with social media right now. As I've said, anxiety over our posts are rampant. According to anxiety.org, the primary cause of anxiety over social media is something called the compare and despair factor. This manifests itself in one of two ways. The first way is the more commonly known way called FOMO, or fear of missing out. We see our friends are all hanging out because they're posting on social media while we're at work, and then we start to worry that we're missing out on something big, and this gives us anxiety. The second reason, and the less known incidence, is something called like anxiety. We see that our posts don't get as many likes as our friends, or we don't have as many followers as our friends, and we start to compare and despair. We get anxiety. You see, we develop this self-consciousness or this need for perfection among our social media presence and our posts. This has led to drastically negative effects on our generation. According to the Dove Self-Esteem Project, 60% of college students say that they have extreme anxiety over their social media use. A recent study at the University of California found the more we use Facebook, the more likely we are to experience a decline in mental and physical health, as well as a decline in overall life satisfaction. This is our biggest problem. You see, somewhere along the way, we let ourselves become slaves to our audience, to our followers. But it doesn't have to be this way. However, first we need to ask ourselves a few questions about our behavior. Have we ever asked a friend to go like something that you've posted on social media? Have we ever been asked to like one of our friends' posts? Has someone gotten mad at us because we didn't like one of their posts? Have we ever not posted because we were worried we were going to be judged for the post? Have we deleted a post because it hasn't gotten enough likes? I've done all of this, and I would bet money that everyone in this room right now has done at least one of them. See, these are the questions we need to ask ourselves before we can change. We need to analyze our behavior and find ways to let our audiences no longer control our expression. Some of this negative behavior is due to the way our brains are wired. According to the study conducted and written about in a New York Times article, we found that social approval on social media triggers the same response in our brain's pleasure centers as sex does. However, we can't blame biology entirely. Part of the issue is that we reward ourselves for using social media this way. The same New York Times article told the story of Ramit Chawla. Chawla had launched himself into his work and had become so busy that he no longer kept up with social media. This meant he didn't like any of his friends' posts. He began to notice consequences appear both on and offline. Online, his own posts suffered. They didn't receive nearly as many likes and no one commented on them. Offline, He noticed that his friends became more distant and agitated with him. They yelled at him over not liking photos, and he didn't spend as much time with them. So he invented an app that automatically liked every post in his social media feed. Immediately, his on and offline popularity soared. Online, his posts received double the amount of likes. Offline, it improved drastically as well. People began to talk and hang out with him far more. One friend he had alienated texted, "Ah, it's fine, you've been giving my photo lots of life, so I forgive you." See, this is where the majority of the blame lies. On us. We've gotten to the point where we will hurt our own mental health and personal relationships because of our desire for praise online. It's not enough for us to perform anymore. We need to pack the house. But again, to blame social media only worsens the problem. We need to blame ourselves. We need to change who we're performing for. So, how do we do this? Finstas have been taking over social media. This is the exact form of expression we should be using. For those of you that don't know what Finstas are, they are private Instagram accounts, usually only followed by a few friends, that allow us to be able to post in a more genuine manner. We can be ourselves online again. We don't have to care about appearance being funny or how many likes we get. In researching for this speech, I poured through hundreds of blog posts researching people's and their use of Finstas. In every instance, people felt little to no anxiety over their Finsta accounts, and many said it was the only form of social media that they felt they could genuinely be themselves on. I decided to put the Finsta mentality to the test. For the past few weeks, I've made a set of rules governing my social media behavior. The first rule, and this is the main one, is I don't post unless it makes me happy. Don't ask yourselves what others might think. Don't think, will this get a lot of likes? Just post it. The second rule is I don't spend more than 3 minutes constructing the post. This means no editing, no retaking photos, no more worrying about how it will appear to my followers. And the third rule, I don't check likes. This is the hardest one to follow, but it makes posting so much more rewarding. The second I began to follow these rules, my anxiety over social media disappeared. So take the power away from your followers. Your account is for you. Go post a picture of you with a celebrity. Who cares if it's blurry and you look bad? You met your favorite celebrity. That's cool. You should share that. Social media exists because we wanted a way to share our life with everyone. So we need to stick to that. Yes, someone might be doing something really fun, but don't compare and despair. You do fun things too. Yes, that photo may not get many likes, but who cares? You're having fun in that photo. That's something that you want everyone to see. And yes, social approval feels great, but not as great as knowing your own self-worth. We are the generation that needs to perform, and that's okay. As long as we remember that we perform for ourselves first. It's not about ticket sales. It's not about people's reaction. It's about celebrating what makes us individuals. In the words of Bo Burnham, I know very little about anything, but I do know this. If you can live your life without an audience, you should do it. So go. Reclaim your social media accounts for you.